Plastic Flowers by Procurador is a visually stunning level, decorated with neon lights. It features a gimmick where some platforms start falling upon landing on them, leading to some fun gameplay, such as outrunning this bridge collapse. However, the jump right after is the hardest one in the level by far, as you need to both maintain full momentum and barely squeeze this set of mini spikes to progress. In fact, the rest of the level is essentially free compared to this jump. G-Toast is finally truly unmatched with her completion of I'm Happy for a 3-minute jetpack and swingcopter challenge with spikes at every corner. Other notable completions include mobile players Ray131 and Glungus on Glungus, an intense dashware-based level. Quarryon, one of the first mythic levels by the Zoant, was released as a game on Steam. The original Geometry Dash level is a Metroidvania featuring 20 money bags for a coin and some satisfying movement upgrades such as a mid-air dash. It also had 2 thwomp bosses that try to slam you dead, and an evil clone to fight. For only $1 on Steam, you can get a more fleshed out version of the level that also adds a map expansion, brand new abilities, and a never before seen space wizard fight. Speaking about levels that could very well be turned into their own indie games that are also mythic worthy, Geometry Quest 2 by My Name is Green was recently released. In the Geometry Quest series, you cast spells through an RPG-style menu to take down each boss. However, during your opponent's turn, you're back in platforming mode, where you can weave all around the upcoming attacks. Aside from 20 plus new bosses, the sequel now ranks your combat performance. The higher your rank, the more rewards you will earn. The sequel also comes with a mini-map to teleport to previously explored areas, puzzles scattered across the map that unlock character upgrades, and pure platforming tucking away more secrets. This level looks absolutely fantastic and will take multiple hours to complete on a first go, so RobTop, please add checkpoint saving! In other news, Mr. Prizrak beat Ascend, and Artemka, NNG, Maddy, Jungle, Dolph, and Igor all beat Vortex. For our new hardest section for the past few weeks, ZanXL and mobile player CuriousTheFurious both beat the Elephant's Foot, a level based on the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Near the beginning, this pair of yellow pads are very difficult to pass, with the first requiring a super tight turnaround and the second forcing you to just barely not hit the spikes below, then land on a corner spike thereafter. Speaking of mini spike corners though, this part requires 2 of them, the second of which being very difficult with no simple lineup. You then encounter this jump, which forces you to jump just low enough to avoid the spikes above, but just high enough to avoid the jank hitboxes of the mini spikes below. Speaking of jank hitboxes though, the next jump is somehow even worse in that regard. The hardest and most iconic jump in the entire level though belongs to this monstrosity, forcing you to not only control your jump height, but also how long you press right, as if you time it wrong you'll be sent straight into the spikes above or below the gap that you're aiming for. Overall, this is an extremely difficult level, and congrats to both victors, especially ZanXL, who used the momentum for beating this to beat Null soon after. Some other new hardists are Pulse Ninja beating We Forgot Everything after 5 months of dragging, and Mr. Chest claiming new hardists of Void World, a needle endurance level, and Parting Ways, a vertical auto-scroller, where the visuals make the level impossible to see over time, on back-to-back days. MarioKirby beat Let's All Love Lain, a visually mesmerizing auto-scroller by Madison. It starts out with a 1-minute endurance test where you fly through spikes and saws. MarioKirby struggled with the next 2 parts due to cube slope boosts, a subsequent tight squeeze between 2 spikes, and the corner jumps in the robot section that are slightly obscured by fences. Following that is another really neat jetpack section, where there's mini challenges to collect 2 lightning bolts before your time runs out. Even though the final part of the level is relatively simple, you'll have to adapt to the level glitching out every second and distorting the screen into a chaotic mess. But don't let that distract you from all these other hardists from the last few weeks. The Towerverse 2 by 16Lord was recently released and rated Mythic. This level is a sequel to the original Towerverse, the first Mythic level in all of Geometry Dash. However, many players were upset that the rating was more based off the story and aesthetics rather than the gameplay. People particularly had issues with the propeller section's difficulty spike at the end of the level. However, 16Lord shut down all your doubts about his ability as a creator with the Towerverse 2, a level where you travel across 3 different realities, including the Super Mario Bros. Timeline. This level greatly improves on the original by making it now worth it to go out of your way to find treasure chests and collect coins scattered across the map to spend on health potions and weapons, each equipped with their own super attack. Before each boss, you can switch weapons to prioritize range, damage, aerial mobility, and special abilities such as possible damage ignore and lifesteal. In addition, there's now a central hub where there's both a training room to try out your new moves and a few side quests that don't overstay their welcome. After tracking down all the star keys, you'll then take on Marks from Kirby, the God of Darkness, to restore the timeline. So try out this level, uncover the secrets of time, while 16Lord and RobTop try their best to avoid getting sued by Nintendo. Another Mythic level has dropped, being Boss Rush 2 by Tickloss, which features fights referencing some of the most popular Geometry Dash levels. Compared to the original, it's an improvement in every way. It has more fleshed out and longer cutscenes, some of which even include voice-acted dialogue. None of the bosses in the sequel feel dragged out. There's now platforming intermissions between each round that both introduce the new mechanics and serve as nice breaks. Something especially cool is that the prior mechanics, such as being able to parry fireballs during Abomination, aren't forgotten about and carry over into the fight against the Eyeball from I Spy with My Little Eye. After reaching the final boss and slicing the Illuminati with your greatsword, you'll then have to survive an intermission that remixes attacks from all of the bosses that you've vanquished. Before round 2, the bosses from the prequel make a grand return, granting you their special abilities, and through the power of friendship, you'll take down the Illuminati. And this level also features a wide variety of achievements, a minimap, and hidden bosses, such as the long-lost cousin of the Cursed Thorn. After over a year of work, Scarlet Central is finally released. This is a super intense speedrun level featuring lots of flashy effects and enjoyable gameplay. It begins in this maze-like section where you have to activate switches to progress. After going down this elevator, it begins to grow in intensity, and the level turns a bit more vertical after these randomized switches. After going up this elevator, the level starts to flash and fall apart as you run through it before suddenly it drops. With an explosion, you're sent flying to the right and have to avoid your narrow death to a giant flaming wall. After breaking out of that section, you're faced with another section with the entire level breaking and falling apart, featuring extremely vibrant, flashy visuals. Then, to finish it off, you descend through this tight drop-down while the music goes at full force, and you have to spam to complete your landing. Overall, this level is an absolute spectacle from start to finish, so a huge congrats to Siphon for finishing it.